The night was heavy with silence, broken only by the muffled sound of footsteps on the cracked pavement. A boy named Ethan, no older than 16, clutched a worn-out guitar in his hands. His clothes were faded, his shoes nearly falling apart, but his eyes carried a strange fire, half born of pain, half born of hope. Ethan had lived most of his life on the edge of survival. His father, once a construction worker, had passed away in a tragic accident, and his mother worked long shifts at a diner just to keep a roof over their heads. Even then, some nights, dinner meant nothing more than bread and water. Music was his only escape. In the corner of their small apartment, that old guitar, his father's only gift before he passed, waited like a loyal friend. Ethan would sit by the window and play until his fingers ached, whispering songs into the night, believing maybe, just maybe, someone up there was listening. But dreams cost money, and Ethan had none. One afternoon, while helping his mother at the diner, Ethan overheard customers talking about the town's annual talent competition. It wasn't a flashy television show, but it was the biggest event in their community. The winner would receive a small scholarship and a chance to perform on a regional stage, where real talent scouts often came. For Ethan, it wasn't about fame or fortune, it was about one chance. One chance to lift his mother out of endless work, one chance to prove that the poor boy with the broken guitar could be heard. Still, doubt haunted him. What if they laugh at me? What if I fail? That evening, sitting on the apartment floor, Ethan softly strummed his guitar. His mother, exhausted from work, leaned against the kitchen counter and watched. "Ethan," she said gently, "your father used to say that talent isn't given to the rich or the poor, it's given to those who carry a song in their soul. You have that song, don't hide it." Her words settled deep inside him. The night of the competition arrived. The small auditorium was packed, families, neighbors, even local journalists eager to write about the annual showcase. Ethan sat backstage, surrounded by contestants in shiny outfits, some with expensive instruments, others with the confidence of years of lessons. He felt out of place, holding his father's scratched guitar, its wood dulled by time. When his name was called, Ethan's legs trembled. He walked onto the stage, blinded by the bright lights. For a moment, the audience seemed to blur into a faceless crowd. He gripped the microphone, his heart pounding so loudly he thought the audience could hear it. Whispers floated through the hall, some curious, some skeptical. Then, he began. The first notes of Hotel California poured from his guitar, shaky at first, but then steady, rich, alive. His voice followed, deep, raw, unpolished, yet full of soul. There was something in the way he sang, as if every word carried the weight of his struggles, as if the pain of hunger, the loneliness of loss, and the stubborn hope of a better tomorrow were all woven into his melody. The crowd grew still. People who moments ago had been checking their phones or whispering to neighbors now sat frozen, their eyes locked on the boy with the broken guitar. The judges leaned forward. His voice didn't sound like the rehearsed polish of trained singers. It sounded like life itself, fragile, broken, but breathtakingly beautiful. Halfway through the song, Ethan closed his eyes, and for a moment, he wasn't on stage. He was sitting by the window again, his father's guitar in his lap, singing into the night sky. His heart opened wider, his voice soared higher, and when he reached the chorus, the auditorium felt as though time had stopped. When the last note faded, the silence was deafening. Then, suddenly, applause. Not polite clapping, but thunderous applause, cheers, whistles, people on their feet. Tears streaked down the faces of strangers. One of the judges, an older man who had seen countless performers, stood up with trembling hands. "Son," he said, his voice breaking through the noise, "you didn't just sing that song, you lived it. And we all lived it with you." Ethan stood frozen, overwhelmed. He had never seen so many faces looking at him with admiration, with respect. For a boy who had always felt invisible, This moment was like sunlight breaking through years of darkness. But the story didn't end there. After the show, as the crowd spilled into the night, a man approached Ethan. He was tall, well-dressed, with the kind of confidence that only comes from success. He introduced himself as a music producer visiting relatives in the town. "Ethan," he said, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder, "I've been in this business for 30 years. Talent like yours doesn't come often. If you'll trust me, I want to help you." Ethan's eyes widened. "But, I'm just a kid. I don't have money for lessons or recording." The man smiled. "You don't need money. You need a chance. And tonight, you gave everyone here a gift. Let us give one back to you." Ethan didn't know what to say. His mother, standing nearby, covered her mouth with trembling hands. She had worked herself nearly to exhaustion just to keep him fed, and now, before her very eyes, the world was opening to him. In the weeks that followed, Ethan's life began to change. The video of his performance spread online, touching hearts far beyond their little town. People from across the country, people who had never met him, sent letters, donations, and words of encouragement. "You reminded me of my own father," one wrote. "You made me believe in dreams again," said another. But Ethan never forgot where he came from. Even as opportunities opened, he continued to sing at the diner where his mother worked, refusing payment, because he believed music wasn't about money, it was about connection. He volunteered at local schools, teaching kids who couldn't afford instruments how to play. "Dreams aren't for the lucky," he would tell them. "They're for the brave." Months later, standing on a much bigger stage, under dazzling lights, Ethan performed again, this time not for a local crowd, but for thousands, broadcast to millions across the country. The same song, Hotel California, filled the air. His voice, still raw and real, carried not only the echoes of his struggles but also the kindness of strangers, the sacrifice of his mother, and the memory of his father. When the final note faded, the entire stadium erupted, and once again, Ethan realized something powerful: success wasn't about fame or fortune. It was about being seen. It was about showing the world that even the poorest boy, with nothing but a worn guitar and a fragile hope, could touch hearts, heal wounds, and inspire change. And in that moment, Ethan knew, he hadn't just sung a song. He had given people something to believe in again. So whenever you hear a song that moves you, remember Ethan's story, the boy who walked onto a stage with nothing but courage and left with everything that truly matters: love, hope, and the power to inspire. Because sometimes, it isn't the richest voices or the fanciest stages that change the world, it's the broken guitar in the hands of a poor boy who refuses to stop singing.